Come on in the room. Cream City crossover back at it again. Impromptu live session. We are live at Cream City crossover.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
Everybody in the building. How about that? JT in the building, Chris King in the building, Justin in the building. Yours truly is in the building. We'll start this one off. And again, we're just here as always talking Bucks. We thought we were gonna make some videos. Let's talk. We got everybody in the room. We're gonna, what do we want to talk about? Obviously, things that have been going on with the Bucks. The latest updates, this Giannis article from the great Jim Arzarsky, breaking down everything. And we were thinking about just making let's go live, man. Let's go live. Who cares? Whoever's in the building is in the building. It's a Friday night, about almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Hey, man, but this is what we do at the Cream City crossover. This is what we do. We are dedicated, committed, all of that to giving you what you want to hear. We'll start tonight off before we start with the this is why I like the offseason sometimes. Before we start with our topics and what we want to get to with the Giannis article and draft stuff and some things that are going on with the team. Start off, Shams Charania, breaking news. Oklahoma City's Isaiah Hartenstein intends to sign a new 3-year contract to return to the Thunder through 2028-29. Total earnings with the franchise, 5 years, $134 million guaranteed. Sources tell ESPN. So that's the latest breaking from the NBA in the offseason. Isaiah Hartenstein will stay in Oklahoma City. Key piece there as they tried to repeat, weren't able to do it. He played better than Chet Holmgren in the Western Conference Finals. I'll say that much. But that's good re-signing for Oklahoma City. Lots of news to cover. Lots of news in the NBA. Listen, man, if you get pulled over by the police, as long as you got access to a head coach, you may be able to get out of that. I don't know if you saw this, Racine. Anyway, we get into a lot of stuff, man. If you can FaceTime a coach, you might be able to get out of a ticket. So keep them on speed dial. All right, let's do it. Let's start this thing off with this with the article. I haven't even pulled up YouTube yet, but I'll pull it up. If you're in the room, come on in the room. Let's talk. Let's get into. I'll just pull this up real quick. So we got it. All right, impromptu live. If you didn't hear, let's talk to Milwaukee Bucks people. Let me see if there's any comments. James Moore, I'm glad you guys are here. Jake Roby, the gang's all here. Jake, we will talk about LaMelo. We'll get to all of that. And he also thinks Lou Dort may be the odd man out. We'll get to all of that. But first, let's talk about this Giannis article. Jim Arzarsky. Again, it was a long expose of the time, basically the demise of the Milwaukee Bucks, the end. And everything that kind of took place there. I'll say this. I do want to get I won't go long. I want to get JT. I want to get your thoughts because you haven't been with us yet to talk about the trade, to talk about, your thoughts on Brandon Berries as well from Arizona. Yours truly. He went to Arizona. If you guys weren't aware, you see about his shirt. He's very happy about that, the pick 10 to the Milwaukee Bucks. But start with Giannis. And again, there's so many different directions you can go. Number one, again, what I'll say is what you saw was a look into the mindset Giannis, and we talked about it. Now, did we defend this guy, I think, on this program? At least I'll speak for myself. Defended him as much as I could. Would walk to the end of the earth with Giannis and all the things, and we talked bad about Shams and all of those things that we did. I mean, and behind the scenes, I mean, again, this just sheds light. Giannis was a diva. The beginning of the end wasn't, because people keep going back to the two things that ended they kind of were the beginning of the end for the Bucks, for Giannis' tenure in Milwaukee, which was the firing of Mike Budenholzer and letting Drew Holiday go in the trade with Damian Lillard. And I go back and I'm like, damn, who was behind both of those moves? It was Giannis. Giannis was behind both. The article, I mean, remember everybody was on here and we're talking about it, and this whole thing about, they let Mike Budenholzer go. His brother had just died. Can you believe they did that? Giannis was pissed off that it took 7 days to do it. I mean, my God, Giannis was like, dog, it took you guys 7 days to fire this man. That's how. So again, Giannis was the one who got him out of here. And then secondly, this whole, we're blindsided by the Drew Holiday trade and getting Damian Lillard. He wanted Damian. Now, is it true that the Milwaukee Bucks, according to this article, did not consult Giannis before they got rid of Drew Holiday? That is correct. John Horst kept that close to the vest. But Giannis is the one who asked for Drew Holiday. For Damian Lillard. The hell you think was going to happen? What you thought John was going to make it appear out of magic? You thought he was going to get Damian Lillard in here and do? You thought that? How did you think that was going to work out? How did you think? You got to give up something to get it. That's how it works. So yes, by both of the moves that were the alleged demise of the Milwaukee Bucks, the beginning and the end, were all started by 34. And what I got from this article, to me, then I'll let it go and say, the main picture I got from this article was the Milwaukee Bucks. And again, I'm not saying that ownership did everything right. Obviously, there were things that they should not have acquiesced to everything Giannis wanted. And basically, Giannis had the organization by the balls. That's what this comes down to. The Milwaukee Bucks did everything in their power to keep Giannis in Milwaukee. And when it didn't work, Giannis blamed the organization. That's what I took from that. That's the main takeaway from it to me. The only other thing, and again, some of these together, the only other thing I do want to get at was some of the reporting. Jim Morzarski didn't even get into it, but didn't I tell you guys that when Adrian Griffin got to Milwaukee, that Josh Oppenheimer, and the one person that Jim Morzarski didn't name was Sidney Dobner, but he named Oppenheimer and talked about how Josh Oppenheimer and Giannis would go behind the scenes and draw up plays and all this kind of stuff. That's when I talked about there being snakes on the coaching staff and people that were running behind Adrian Griffin's back and doing all that stuff. Oppenheimer, Sidney Dobner were doing that, and Giannis was eating it up, and he'd go back. Jim Morzarski didn't even get into it, but it was worse than just, they went back and were drawing up plays. No. They were secretively going back in back rooms and things of that nature, drawing up plays, and then Giannis would come to the forefront later. He'd come to the forefront later and say, this is what we used to do. And again, I say it again. Adrian Griffin had his problems, but I'll say it again. He won, but I'll say it again. His problem was that he was too nice. He was too nice, and he let people run all over him. He was a rookie head coach. Let me see. Mac Tumas says, we in the chat knew you guys were homers for Giannis, but it's cool. We try to tell you Giannis threw all these people on the bus, but we understand it was easy to be in denial when you had love. There's no question. Now, we weren't showing love. I'm not going to make a video and cry about it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Damn it, Trey. Come on.
I'm not going to go that far. But yeah, no, it's easy to be in denial when you like Giannis. I ain't got to JT. I'm already yapping too much. I want to hear your thoughts, JT, on the article and on the trade and everything.
So first, here's the thing, right? I think in order for me to give you any kind of informed analysis, you got to go ahead and take a couple steps back. First off, Giannis had, 10 years of Buck had been remarkable. This is a guy. It truly is the American dream, right? You come from Greek, you're not necessarily taking him, picking him first round. You take a guy. He is probably one of the best stories in the history of professional sports of player development. He's arguably one of the best stories of player development, at least in the last 50 years. When you look at where he started out and where he ended up, the things he did for Milwaukee, for the Bucks basketball. I mean, you can't say enough about how he made this team. Brought this team back to relevancy. How he was a large reason why the Bucks had the best record for 2018 to 2023 or whatever, the best regular season record in the NBA. Certainly took us to two conference title games, won a championship, had one of the best game sixes in the NBA championship history. You just can't say enough about a guy who painted himself as an ambassador of the city and someone who made you think that he embodied Milwaukee. And I think people, in a lot of sports, you see athletes represent cities, but you don't see the individual citizens feel like they identify as much with that athlete or embrace that athlete as one of their own. It just kind of stops as, yeah, he's a great basketball player, but Giannis is one of the few athletes that I think we've seen in recent history, right, where city has just rose so hard for him because he did kind of make moves to ingratiate himself with society and become a pillar of the community. And for that, you got to give him credit. You certainly do have to give him credit. And again, it had been a great run for the bulk of his career while he was here in Milwaukee. Can't say enough about it. Understand that. But on the same note, when you look at it from that perspective, I think that makes it even more heartbreaking to find out and read behind the scenes that the guy you thought you were seeing was not real, right? This was all a manufactured. And this is probably, I'm assuming in the last couple of years, Trey, I know you've heard reports about how Giannis, after he got the second MVP, was going to the barbershop and wouldn't even speak to people. He used to go in, speak to everyone, chat, and after that, he was acting real Hollywood. And I think as time went on, we started to see some things or hear some things, and hey, this guy might be a little bit of a diva. But I think, again, the people in Milwaukee just ride so hard for their stars that we kind of, everybody had his back. And we just started saying, no, national media is making stuff up. National media is mad because Milwaukee has a star. National media is here. And all of that, I think, is what made it so tough when this went down. And then the articles come out and you're hearing about the stuff he was doing behind the scenes, the diva behavior, the lack of accountability, run away from stuff, really acting like it's everybody else's fault, trying to put his finger on the team's necks, going, you need to make this move. Oh, you make this move. Oh, it didn't work out. Oh, this is your fault. This isn't good enough, right? I mean, I think that just makes it even more disheartening. And, it's been real, but let me say this. I remember on the Cream City crossover in December when all these reports were coming out, weren't we the guys who said, wait a minute, something's not right here? You can't just keep telling me that all these credible journalists are just making up something and there's no smoke to these rumors. This is not, ESPN just wasn't making stuff up out of nowhere. They were getting it from somewhere. And, when the article said that Giannis, one article said that Giannis, after the 2025 season, had even said, yeah, I'm done here, or something along the lines of, yeah, I'm done. So he went into all last season knowing that he was not coming back. I mean, and it just, when you have that information and then you look at how he acted in December, with the hottest chicken game, I don't know what he's doing, I don't know what my agent does and everything else. It's just like, how disingenuous could this guy be? Was this all just a stunt, right? Like, and again, I don't think it all was. I think the last 2 years, certainly, yes. I think that the guy that everybody kind of loved and embraced and rallied around in the city was gone, 100%. Definitely these last couple of years. But it's just really kind of tough to process when you see how this all played out. Then you hear, oh, he blocked 3 or 4 other teams from even, said I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't do. I mean, it's just like, and then hearing behind the scenes that he did actually request a trade is crazy because again, he said, oh, I would never do that. And it's just like, there's so many things that don't add up. There's so many things that are just not true. That even if you're the biggest fan, you have to still feel like, wait a minute, like this ain't this. I mean, yes, there are other people who will see him through rose-colored glasses and say it's the Bucks' fault. That sure, are they delusional? You better believe it, right? But at the end of the day, I think the way this went down, this was a gut punch to most Bucks fans in the city. There's no question about it. And it's been one slow, gut punch. Let's take it back. It went from gut punch to damn near feeling like you getting hit with socks wrapped in, with locks and socks, right? Somebody put the soap in the socks and they just going upside your head with it, right? And just over time, it just started to feel like that. And look at this, and it's sad. And again, guys, as those of y'all who are not new to this thing, I know I'm a Colts fan. With Peyton Manning was time ago, you realize all good things come to an end. I just wish it didn't go down this way. And I will say this: I think the image of Giannis has probably changed in, at least probably, I'd say maybe 2/3 of Milwaukee Bucks fans after this last week. And I just never expected it to be this way.
I did want to go to Jake's question here. He says, what I don't understand is why the Bucks front office ownership passed on a Luka trade if Giannis was already hinting at leaving and being disgruntled before the Mavs came with that offer. And I'll attempt to answer that. I think it's because at its worst, I think they were of the belief until they were very, very sure the relationship was not repairable, that they wanted to run with this. They wanted to go all the way to the end with seeing how they could salvage the relationship with Giannis. And so again, this is how you asked. It's a great question, Jake, but this is how you know they were of full belief that they thought they could potentially work this out. You don't wave and stretch Damian Lillard and bring in Miles Turner again. As ill-fated and as bad of a decision as that was, especially not as much the wave and stretch of Damian Lillard, bringing in Miles Turner. As bad of a decision as that was, you don't do that unless you believe that you can get this thing worked out. So when you ask the question, and again, whether that's delusion, maybe front office is probably delusion as well. And again, I'm not upset at it. Because when you have you don't just let them go. Like, again, the last time we had a superstar like that in Milwaukee was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That was in the 70s. You didn't find another one like that until 50 years later. So those guys don't just grow on trees. Yeah, you're not just, and again, you could argue, but Luka's not the same level as Giannis, and not in my mind. But anyway, I think that's the reason. Let me go to a super chat come in. Appreciate you. The last Quincy says the whole situation makes me realize the Bucks haven't had any real leadership for a while, from the players to the coaches to the front office. You could argue that's fair. And again, the guy who was supposed to be a leader was Giannis, and he wasn't. It seems like from that article, the real leader was the Giannis whisperer, as they're starting to call him now, Chris Middleton. That was the leader. I want to, but yeah, no, you're not wrong on that. Let's keep rolling with this, Chris and Justin, and then I do want to come back to you, JT, because I want to get your thought on Braden Berries as well, which we didn't really get into. But let's keep rolling. Thoughts on the article, fellas, as we keep talking about this here.
Well, it's nice to know that the reports that Trey was getting were, it basically confirms that Trey was right, and the source was definitely on that squad with Adrian Griffin, and so it's just a little nice to parade that for us. But all seriousness, yeah, like I think this leaves a bad taste in the people who were in disbelief's mouths. Like I don't think we were very surprised to hear these things come out, because it's just like we were able to call out some of the BS that we thought we saw, and the back and forth between going out and publicly saying you wanted to be here, but it took you a little while, and then also your reps are doing other things behind your back when in reality I don't know that was necessarily the truth. This was just a situation where a guy spent so much time trying to, I think both parties tried to make it work a little too much. And then all of a sudden when it didn't work and you can't cry loyalty anymore and you want to go ring chase, then you go and do that. And he tried to indirectly do it, but everybody was able to see the BS. Everybody was able to see the essentially a trade request from Giannis through his actions and through his non-committal relationship with the media when asked about staying with the Bucks. So, yeah, I just think that it just confirms what we already were suspicious about. And with that, it's nice for us to know that we were right the whole time.
This is so many different layers to me. I want to clear up a couple things because, first of all, you can't, and JT said it well, you cannot discredit anything that Giannis did basketball-wise for the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think that sometimes when you hear me rant about these last couple of years, you'll get it misconstrued that I don't think that Giannis was great for the city. He was absolutely great for the city. He did phenomenal things. And I'm not just talking about from a basketball sense. His philanthropic work was amazing as well. And he helped a lot of less fortunate people out in Milwaukee. And we'll forever have gratitude for him for that, and empathy and grace. And we'll have it. And he'll forever be our champion. But however, I'm 10 toes down that he's a hoe. And he's shown it. He's continuously shown it. When you look at this Jim Orzowski article, first of all, these are some things. Wait, let me rewind one. let's get one thing. Let's get a couple things clear about the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin as well. Giannis Antetokounmpo did not build that city. That city was thriving well before he got there. For you dudes, King of Kings, you go back and forth in the comments and stuff like that. Maybe you need some Google or something like that. There's a whole lot of companies, a whole lot of stuff that was moving and shaking way before he got there. And you should do your research because them guys, and I know Sidney Moncrief said some stuff that some people don't agree with, but that Bucks team was pretty cold. Just couldn't beat Magic Johnson, them Lakers and them Celtics teams and those 76ers teams and stuff like that. Basketball was alive and thriving in Milwaukee. We went to a very bad spell. And Giannis resurrected us from that and brought us a championship. But I can't discredit those teams from the 80s, and I can't discredit those Ray Allen teams as well. Now, and that's not taking anything away from him. But let me look at a couple things at why I think he's a hoe. Number one, the firing Bud stuff. That's just absolutely deplorable. The man's brother dies. What the hell difference does it matter if you fire that dude the week after he loses, 2 weeks after three? The finals hadn't even happened yet. Oh, Giannis, do you forget? We lost in the first round with you. We had plenty of time to fire that guy and still get a good coach here in the offseason. Secondly, there was a thing that Jimmy O pointed out in that he was going to opposing coaches that used to coach in Milwaukee and telling them, you used to give me the ball like this. These guys don't give me the ball like that. But then you're calling Ryan Rollins and you're calling KPJ or whomever he's referring to as selfish. Biggest one to me. Biggest hoe bone in his dude body. This is why he's a hoe. Doc Rivers had a lot of faults in Milwaukee. We're not gonna say he was perfect. However, one thing, if you read that article, Doc tried to get away to either send Giannis to Portland or send Dame to Greece. And it didn't happen, allegedly, because of Giannis. Now, we on this T Grizzly first day out, this dude working out with Bam and the trade ain't even finalized. Come on, dog.
Wait, hold on. Didn't he go to Vegas? Didn't he go to the Vegas Aces game to go see Bam's girl play? Bro, that to me sound like bonding for real, right?
Yep.
That to me sound like bonding for. And here's the best part. The trade ain't even official yet. And he's already moved heaven. He's already spent more time in the continental U.S. during the summer over there out there in Vegas doing whatever with Bam, kicking it and watching that. Man, listen, just as you say, Ho, I'm thinking BAN status, right? Temporary BAN status is
big facts. Big facts. Big facts. Big facts.
Like you can say that. No, we got to bring out the BAN because of the things that the article revealed that he was doing behind the scenes, like that with the coaches. Come on, bro. What is that? That don't make no sense, right? But it also leads some credence to Miles Turner talking about, I was late to the plane 2 hours. I was doing that. Hey, I don't think I was lying.
Right.
I owe Miles Turner an apology.
I owe Miles Turner an apology. But you know who I owe an apology?
Shams?
Dame.
I owe Dame an apology.
Yep.
And you know why I owe Dame an apology?
I do too.
Dame had all of these issues in his personal life going on here. Then you got here, and it wasn't really, the guy you were supposed to be playing with, the guy you was here, the guy you ended up with. Giannis kind of seemed like he was, I don't know if he was checked out. I don't know if here, but it just didn't seem like Giannis was really in this thing the way you were probably in this thing as Dame. And you come all the way across the country, all these different you got family stuff going on and everything else, and then Giannis can't find a way to come see you. And I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just, this whole thing was crazy. It just, one, let me take a step back. Jim Ostrowski's article was incredible. He's a fantastic journalist. You got to give him all the credit in the world. This was a hell of a piece that he put together. There's another piece on ESPN that came out, I think, a few hours ago as well. But yeah. I mean, seeing all this behind the scenes, this isn't. It just directly contradicts everything that he was publicly saying or trying to do, facing. And what it comes down to is, no, you were trying to create this image. You were trying to create this. You went above and beyond. It's like those of y'all, some of y'all. I mean, it's late, so we can be real here. Some of y'all may not have always told the truth to your significant other, right? Some of y'all might have made stuff up, significant other here, right? We've been there. Everybody been there. And what happens? It ain't the initial lie. It's all the subsequent lies and everything else with the cover-up that makes that situation terrible, right? Because again, as a young man, you're going to learn that sometimes you make a mistake, you got to stand on it. Sometimes you got to stand. What you trying to do is, okay, I'm trying to cover it up, I'm trying to do all this other stuff. And then when it falls apart, it hits the damn fan, right? All he had to do was just be honest. All he had to do was just be honest. All he had to do was say, yeah, this was true. This is what I was thinking at the time. All he had to do was do that, and he couldn't do it. Instead, he had to lie. He had to act like he didn't know what agents are or what someone acting in your best interest does. He had to say, oh, this is where I reserve the right to change my mind. I'm here. This is my – he had to, these little passionate Instagram posts that he knew would get attention and all these messages that try to throw people off. I'm the hottest chick in the game. Whatever it was, all he had to do was just stand on it and just keep it real, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And the worst part is, do you remember that newspaper article that came out? Was it Laurie Nichols towards the end of the season? And, he tried to clear some things up. That was all BS. Every last one of that was all BS. I want to be here. Come on, bro. Man. But you know what, though? That's what happens. When you put all that work in an image and all stuff and it's not real and it gets exposed, it's always painful.
Hey, can I say one more thing? I'll be quiet on this thing because I don't want to talk about. I told y'all last episode, man. When the ex gone, we don't even mention her name no more. And that's how we finna do this dude. But I think, JT, you brought up a good point about Laurie Nickel. And I think it's a big apology owed to Shams because Shams, whatever that dude name is, I don't really know his name and I don't really care. But I think that he's doing his job as a journalist. Giannis Camp is feeding him stuff. And he's going back and reporting it like he's supposed to do. And here's why I got an issue with it. Giannis is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, soon to be a billionaire, because he is arguably the greatest basketball player ever in Milwaukee. And at one point in time, he was number one in the entire NBA. And you are risking these people's livelihoods because Laurie Nickel get fired. Jim Orzowski get fired. These people don't have as much to go back and get hundreds of million dollars to suffice their families and stuff like that. And I felt like it's a gross misuse of who he is as a person. And you know what, JT? You said lying like to the chicks and stuff like that, which that's probably true. But we know that, them good, honest brothers like Chris King would never do anything like that. So for me, I'm older. So this is Hulk Hogan. Eat your vitamins, brother. And you turn around, you're a whole different person behind the scenes. That's what Giannis is, dog.
This is Hulk Hogan telling you to eat your vitamins when he's taking them roids. That's what that is. Trying to tell you vitamin A, B, and D did this. Hell no. Come on, man. Don't tell me it's a B12 shot when it's Nandrolone.
I think, and here's the only thing I'll push back on Shams. Apology for 1 second. Shams Sharani.
Okay.
I'll push back on the Shams apology for 1 second, only because he only gave one side of the story, and he gave it as if it was the gospel truth. Now, again, was there obviously some truth to what he was saying? Yes, but to me, his issue was he gave deadlines as to when a trade was going to take place or when it did. Again, the last thing we heard was in last December. He said that a resolution is going to be made on Giannis in the next few weeks. Well, the resolution didn't take place until last week. It was a 30-week resolution that he said it was going to take. I've never heard of a few weeks take 30. So that was my problem with Shams, is that he put deadlines on things that weren't really going to happen. Now, do I think it was Giannis people that fed him the information? Probably, and that's where he was running with it. But I think, again, he embellished it. He embellishes a little bit too much to me, and that's why what he did this time was much better. What he did, if you notice, everybody else was doing on. Wendy was talking, and Ramona Shelbourne was talking, and Jake Fisher. All these random people were giving out report. Shams was quiet. If you notice that Shams was silent until and who reported the trade? It was Shams. That's what you are. You are a reporter. You report the news. Getting in the rumor business is risky for Shams. And I'll tell you the other reason why. I'm going to tell you what he did correctly. The way he did it right. For whatever reason, draft night, or as soon as the draft ended, he started talking about, I'm hearing rumors. LaMelo Ball, maybe on the block. The Charlotte Hornets are listening to rumors. And guess what? LaMelo Ball was traded the next day. if that's what the top-ranked number one reporter in all of NBA basketball should be doing. When you say somebody's about to get traded, damn it, I expect them to get traded. You don't tell me somebody's get traded and they get traded. That's a rumor business. You're talking so that's why I don't have a full apology for Shams. He heard Giannis was a big name. He got into the rumors, which is into the mud with everybody else because he wanted to be first. And it's better to be accurate. He should have been reporting hard on Giannis getting traded. He should have did it. What he did last year, he should have did that this year. Because Giannis got traded at the beginning of this summer, right before the draft. Let me get to Last Quincy, another super chat. Appreciate you. He says Giannis goes into the boat as Favre and Rodgers. They were great in their time in Wisconsin, but in the end, their egos left a bad taste in the mouth. I would agree. Justin, I want to ask you, and then I do want to get to John about Braden Bears. But Justin, I want to ask you: is this worse than? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give me your thoughts on the Favre and Rodgers comparisons with Giannis. Is this worse?
Yeah, so I think it's absolutely worse because Favre and Rodgers didn't try to sugarcoat who they were. They didn't hide behind it and then do all this backstabbing stuff.
Right.
Rodgers called out the organization in the press on McAfee. Brett Favre called it out every which way possible, tried to hijack training camp. Meanwhile, Giannis is like, hey, I'm a good guy. Wear my backwards Nike shoes. Buy my Andy store. We love you, Milwaukee. We would never leave. We own the Brewers. And then meanwhile, it's fire Bud the day after his brothers died. And, hey, I want this guy off the team. I want that guy. I want this. I want that. I'm not going to show up to meetings. Miles Turner was right. One last thing about Jimmy O, because there's a lot of stuff you see on the Twitter machine that he didn't report this stuff at time when it was happening. Well, folks gotta understand he's a Bucks beat reporter, and if he puts that stuff out 18 months ago, 2 years ago, that may sever the relationship completely, and then it's all on him. And then his career, once again, this is this man's job. He's not just out there like all of us have full-time jobs. That is his full-time job. So I think he played it right, man. And I just think Jimmy O's a GOAT. But no, Giannis is by far worse than Favre and Rodgers. Hey, man, I even think he's worse than Craig Counsell.
Damn.
The thing that's interesting though about we talk about Rodgers though, the difference though, I didn't really hear anybody ever coming out saying Rodgers was a bad teammate or bad for the locker room, right? It seemed like even on the drama with Rodgers, it seemed like his teammates still loved him. I still wasn't hearing nobody speaking bad about Aaron Rodgers. I wasn't hearing nobody speaking about how he's taken away from things.
You would hear like Greg Jennings and Jermichael Finley would say bad things.
Right. I'm talking about like none of the current guys said anything.
Okay.
Which is so wild because when Miles Turner said about Giannis, I'm like, what the hell? Wait a minute, right? Like, that's interesting, right? So I guess my point is at least Rodgers and them in the locker room appeared to, from what we know, at least still had the relationships on the team, still had the presence in the locker room that they needed to not rip the team apart, at least as far as we know. I'm not sure that was the case with Giannis. I'm really not. I'm not sure that guys had maybe grown tired of some of the nonsense that Giannis was doing, but they weren't just going to say anything. They weren't going to speak on it, right? The only person who was going, Bobby was going to always act like it wasn't that big of a deal for a number.
But wait. Let me ask y'all a question on that real quick. And I'm not. Remember, Bobby got really frustrated. It was about January, February, and he was talking about how guys need to show up and start. Do you think some of that frustration when he went on that rant was at Giannis with the stuff he was doing?
I don't think so. I really don't, because I think he recognized Giannis as, again, even him going with Giannis here again, because remember when Miles Turner had this conversation. Bob, is that AI? I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Again, I think it could have been just an overall thing. I think Bobby was frustrated a lot. I couldn't tell you if it was at Giannis or because of Giannis. But again, Bobby's going to remain Giannis' team out in Miami. So I think Bobby respects Giannis a lot. To be quite honest with you, just based on stuff he said on what's the show with Michelle Beadle and them. I think he holds Giannis in high regard. JT, I did want to get your thoughts. So let's move past Giannis. We can still have some of that conversation because we are going to go back to I do want to go back to after we get through the rookies in the draft and two-way players. I do want to get back to talking about what this roster should look like based upon the moves we've seen. But before that, I want to pass forward back to JT. Your thoughts, your boy Braden Burries. There was a question in here and about whether Braden Burries is going to be a star or if we think he's just his ceiling is just a starting level player. I can't remember who asked it, but I did see it in chat. But just your thoughts, Arizona's own Braden Burries in Milwaukee.
Listen, I like this pick. I think Braden Burries is a guy who can get buckets. Now, when watching almost every Arizona game this year, he started a little bit slow. This thing was looking a bit shaky. But look, Braden Burries, he's a three-level scorer. He's a guy. He's a guard. I mean, he's a decent, like 6'4", 6'5", so he's not little there. I think that the thing is he can score for you. He can get buckets. He can create. The issue that you kind of do have with him, though, is he's not – I hate when people say athleticism. It's like, what does that mean, right? I don't see a lightning quick first step. I'm not seeing right? So because of that, I mean, I say, look, I think that Braden Burries is I think his ceiling is probably solid level starter. I think I don't see him becoming a star. And listen, y'all, I mean, I can only keep it real with y'all. I don't see him becoming a star, but I can see him if he can be like a Ryan Rollins type, if he can do that, which I think Ryan Rollins has not reached his ceiling yet. But even if he gets to where Ryan Rollins was this last year, I think we'd be in very good shape. But I mean, he can play, right? I think it'll be interesting to see how he matches up with some of these faster guards. But I like the pick. I do like the pick. One thing I'll say is I think kind of similar to the San Antonio Spurs, where our guard room is crowded. How many guards we got? How many guards do we have on this roster? That guard room is crowded.
37.
Yeah, I mean, so how does this work? I'm assuming that all these guys are not going to be in the roster in the fall. I think we've got some additional moves we're going to have to make because, again, we just have so many guards. So what do rotations look like? How do you plug them in the lineup? Do you plug them in day one? Do you have them coming off the bench running with the twos? There's a ton of questions I think you've got to answer. And then again, what combinations do you have out there on the court, right? You're probably not going to play him, KPJ, and Ryan Rollins on the court at the same time, right? I just don't think that makes sense. So it remains to be seen, but I do think he will be a solid starter at minimum for the Bucks. I can see that happening. And yeah, I mean, look, I think you're fulfilling a need at this point. And yeah, I'm glad the Bucks got him. Glad he's here in Milwaukee.
To that point, good, Justin.
I just got a question for JT. So, are you gonna buy the jersey or the jersey? Like, how you gonna act now that you got a Wildcat as the face of the franchise right now?
Brother, I'm just gonna tell you right now, right? I'm gonna just be the turd in the punch bowl about this. I don't buy jerseys. I buy shirts. Right, I buy team shirts. I don't buy jerseys. I buy shirts. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't wear another man's last name on my back. I'm not gonna do that. Right? I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna get the freshest Bucks shirt that I can, and I'm gonna get down like that. And I think that's kind of just what it is, right? Maybe we'll show up to a Bucks game early. I know a few people who know a few people, and my son get the picture with Braden Burries, dapping boys up, and yeah. I think that's
that. Y'all see that. Hey, JT, real subtle. Throw it in there. I know a few people. JT sound like he gonna be courtside. Braden Burries, he gonna be down there. One of those games, he might be on the floor. We got the pregame package, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, man. We'll see.
Good thing they traded Giannis.
What you went to school with too, man. Got some. Might have a little bit of.
If Giannis was still here, that wouldn't happen though, because he blocked Cream City crossover.
Wait, who did?
Giannis.
Oh yeah. Wait, by the way, Trey, that's hilarious. And we haven't been on air since then.
Oh, you ain't been on there for. Oh yeah, we went on there for that.
I just want to know what was the video. I wish he would have blocked and commented. Right? I wish he would have blocked you and commented, so we could have seen the video as to what got under his skin. Because boy, he sure is a sensitive fella.
He is.
He is a sensitive fella. And you know what I love about it? At some point, he must have tuned into the Cream City.
There you
culture.
go.
You know, the best part is, though, this kind of makes me mad, but the city of Milwaukee rose so hard for this dude that everybody pretended to like his brother. Everybody didn't give a damn about the Nassus, and we actually, like some dummies, were arguing as to why he should have been on the roster. I mean,
and now Miami's like, and that's another talk about Hollywood. And now he's gonna have to play in Miami. And Ramon Sherman reporting they're not gonna sign Thanasis or Allen. So again, we did. You talk about loyalty in the DNA. The Bucks have more loyalty. At the end of the day, the Bucks end up having more loyalty to Giannis than Giannis into the city. And again, that's notwithstanding everything he did 2021. Nobody's discrediting that. But what we're saying is, Thanasis didn't help. But anyway, that's another story. Chris, I do want to jump to because we got to keep rolling here. Chris King, the Bucks jumped back in the second round. Cash considerations to the Washington Wizards. Jump back, got in the second round, 60th last pick overall. Malik Lewis is who they went with out of the Melbourne Phoenix for the NBL. And then in a two-way pick, they signed George Washington forward Rafael Castro as well to a two-way deal. So again, that means your four newcomers, if you will, now. Braden Burris, who we just talked about, Nate Ament from Tennessee, Malik Lewis, and Rafael Castro. Chris King, your thoughts on those guys, the four newcomers, young guys to the Milwaukee Bucks, and what they should be looking for. I know you talked a little bit about Nate and Braden, but specifically Malik and Rafael as well.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and piggyback off of what JT was talking about with Burries first. I did some deeper diving, and somebody actually made a good comment on our draft video. Is like, I mean, at least the frame and the way that he's being touted as like a two-way player is like kind of similar to Drew Holiday, right? I mean, you're a 6'4", 200-some pound, already filled out type cat. Well, you know, I don't know that necessarily he's the same exact defender, but I think the skill set could be there. I mean, you see some of the highlights, and he's creating turnovers and in multiple ways, playmaking on defense. And the thing that stood out to me watching Braden Burries was just like he's got high IQ and he doesn't do too much. He's in control, and that's, you know, depending on how the Bucks want to play, right? I mean, you've already got a couple of guards back there that can turn the ball over in no time with KPJ and Ryan Rollins. They can get a little out of control, out of sorts. But if now you're bringing in a guy in Braden Burries who isn't going to do too much, going to make the right play, make the right decision, but also has that scoring capability, I think it's a good addition to that guard room. And yeah, I enjoyed watching the highlights. I thought that I mean, of course, when they played through him down the stretch, they looked like they were at their best. Arizona did, and they got very far with him as the basically. I mean, they had, what was the other guy's name? Was it Bradley? Is it the other guy? Jaden Bradley. He was there, but I think Braden Burries, being a freshman, being that young talent, you're certainly looking forward to having that in the building in Milwaukee. So although they didn't, beat Michigan, they got beat down pretty bad. I do think he was a bright spot in that tournament for Arizona, and a bright spot all season for them, being a 16 points per game scorer as a freshman. And the fact that he was able to fall down to the Bucks at 10 was awesome, because he was mocked before that. All right, when we get to the second round, I could talk about Nate Ament, but I mean, I think we've hit on him. It's a project pick. He's a guy that you really do like the intangibles. He's really skilled with the ball in his hands. Pretty lengthy, of course, 6'11", 6'11", big wingspan. A player that's going to score at, he can score at all three levels. The 3-point percentage wasn't great, but the fluidity looks there. The strength is the biggest concern, and just got to get him up to speed with that. But somebody also mentioned that his dad has a lot of weight on him, so maybe he has the genetics. But I mean, you can never bank on genetics being the case to help him put on weight. If you're let me tell you this: if you're saying an NBA team will help him get stronger, why couldn't Tennessee, who's in the SEC with a ton of money and invested probably in their strength program, why couldn't he do it in a year at Tennessee? I don't know. But all right, second round, when they picked Malik Lewis, I was just like to Trey and the guys in the group chat. I'm like, all right, there they are getting their international fix, a guy that we've never really talked about or previewed, but that again is the second round, right? I mean, you're gonna get those guys that haven't been on your radar, that the Bucks are just kind of taking shots in the dark, and if they felt like he was the best available at that time, like they traded when we were still in the 40s, so like their guy could have already been taken off the board, and they just made the trade and had to pick what was next best available for them. But when I looked into Malik Lewis, I do see a power forward who, yeah, he was in the NBL last year, but he was also in the G League the year before. He actually declared for the draft and then withdrew his name and then went and played in the NBL last year, and then ends up the 60th pick for the Bucks. 6'8", around 200 pounds, so a little thinner, but a guy who averaged 9 and 5, 9 points, 5 rebounds in both leagues. Got up to like 5.8 is in the NBL. So you should respect the NBL. Like, it is a good league. I know AJ Johnson only averaged 2 points in that league. So for him to be a guy that put up some stats and played good minutes on an NBL team, and I looked at his highlights. He looks like an active defender. Looks like he's got a good motor. He's not going to be the high ceiling guy as Nate Ament is. Like, I think his ceiling might be that of like a Dorian Finney-Smith, like a guy who's just going to play defense and rebound, like and shoot some corner threes. Like, I think that's what you're getting in Malik Lewis. If he pans out, that may be ceiling. But that's what you're going to get in the back of the back half of the draft. So I'm not mad at the pick. Like, I mean, young kid. Again, these three draft picks are all 21 or under, so you can't hate on it, understanding where we're at in the rebuild. And then I also think there's some credence to understanding now kind of maybe the play style. Like, we took one big swing, but everybody else seems to be like, it seems like we're bolstering depth. It seems like we're really trying to create a roster here. Like, and that's what you like to see. And then last would be Rafael Castro at the two-way contract. I'm a Dayton fan. I grew up in Dayton, so they obviously play George Washington in the Atlantic 10. I'll say this about Rafael Castro: pretty skilled finisher when it comes to in the post. High leaper, can jump, can block shots, can play defense, can rebound like no other. I mean, he's had multiple 20-rebound games. But you're not getting anything when it comes to the jumper or the free throw line. You're not getting anything. Like, anything. Like, you will not get a three-pointer put up by Rafael Castro, and you better hope that he doesn't go to the free throw line, because it will be the highest arcing brick you'll ever see. Like, I mean, I've watched him in a couple of games, against UD. And, I mean, he had some moments where he basically shot them out of the game because of he got put at the free throw line. So I don't know if that's something the Bucks are looking to develop, but it was pretty damn bad, his college career. I think his college career, it can't be over 60%. It had to be in the 50s, free throw percentage. But I say that to say, like, another option as a guy who's going to rebound and be a depth piece, maybe, if he figures it out, if he can add something else to his game, like a consistency from the free throw line. But he is a skilled scorer, skilled finisher, probably 5 to 10 feet out. Outside of that, you're not getting much, but defense it's certainly there. So I would say, if I could compare him to anybody, it'd be he's like a lengthier, like Jericho Sims, but not as much, not as good from the free throw line. So that's all I got. I mean, I certainly, like I said, I think you're starting to see the team take shape a little bit, especially with who they're bringing back and stuff. And if this is a coach in Taylor Jenkins and an organization that wants to run through guards and then have just a ton of depth as big men, I mean, you're seeing that kind of be the new wave in the NBA. So I'm certainly happy with the way that this is kind of shaking out, getting young talent, getting guys that could either be proven or could also have a very high ceiling. And so that's what I'm getting out of this, and super excited to see him in Summer League.
You mentioned JC, but you mentioned Summer League. It is gonna be a fun Summer League team to look at. We got some interesting development. The Bucks are in the California Summer League, and they are in the Vegas Summer League as well. So that'll be interesting. JT, what you go ahead, JT?
So I was going to ask this question to you, Chris King, right? And you guys may have already touched on this, but here's the question. Given the guard depth, right, it seems like Burries could potentially take a bit. If Burries takes potential, Burries may have the luxury of taking a little bit longer to develop and get his feet. Whereas I feel like, he's going to have to produce much quicker, right? Given the lack of depth in our big man, given the holes that we have with our bigs now, it seems like he's under more pressure to produce, right? Like, am I crazy for thinking that, or do you think they both have an equal amount of pressure to come out and produce right away?
When you say produce, I don't know
because I feel like Nate isn't right. Well, I guess here's my thing. When I say produce, I mean come out and have an impact right away, right? Come out and not just be a guy out there floating around, right? Come out there and do something ASAP. Earn your minutes. Have an impact on the squad when you're on the court there. I'm feeling like looking at our bigs right now and seeing Nate. Hey man, I'm gonna need to me it seems like I need you to come out and do something ASAP. Whereas if Burries takes longer to develop, we have so many guards that it's like, okay, well, he's a rookie. All right, well, he can work his way into the rotation here. If he stumbles or looks, doesn't look all that great in training camp, doesn't look all that great in the preseason, I feel like because we have guards, he has the luxury of, sitting a little bit, coming along slowly. Whereas I feel like Nate needs to produce right away. And so my question to Chris King, am I crazy here, or do you think they both have the same amount of pressure, or do you think that it's Burries who needs to come out and be that guy right away?
Yeah, I think for both of them being lottery picks, I would imagine that both would face a little bit of pressure from Bucks fans, NBA fans anyway, just by how high they were selected, and even Nate Ament was projected maybe to be that 10th pick that Burries ended up being. But I do see your point there with understanding that, hey, we realistically got debating whether we're going to ship off Kuzma and we'll talk about that later, but I'm thinking like we are pretty thin at the forward, so at power forward at least, because Usman, really we jumped the gun a little bit on him, but those guys could be pretty similar players. Maybe Usman might be a little more polished, but Nate Ament might be just better in certain other areas. Yeah, I would say that, if you're Braden Burries, you're like, you certainly want to live up to the expectations, and it's a guard room that, hey, if you're just flat out better than KPJ or a Ryan Rollins or a Tyler Herro, you can take that spot. You can go and take that spot. I don't know, maybe not Tyler Herro, but at least KPJ and Rollins. Like, you can go and take that spot and be the guy. And so if you're still faced with a little bit of pressure to go out and perform and do that. And I would say that, I would say it's probably a little more on Nate Ament, understanding that the gravity of like him potentially being a whole bust is there, and like you need to see something from him that shows that he can physically adjust to the NBA game, the defense can translate, and so I think he's going to deal with a little bit of pressure there. But then again, like if he's slotting into an empty power forward room, then the room for error might be he might have a longer leash. So it's interesting. It's a good point you bring up. I think personally, to answer the question, I think both have just the same amount of pressure to be good. Like they are products of like a new team and a new rebuild, and they need to come in and change the culture and set a tone right away, I think.
Good, Justin.
I don't think the forward room is as empty as what we think it is, though. Like when you're looking, that's provided Miles Turner stays, but you got Jaquez, you got Ware, you got, Sims, you got Pete Nance. I think right now with Giannis being gone, both of these gentlemen could take a collective breath along with the city of Milwaukee, and let's just let Taylor cook. And I think that, everything I've been reading and seeing about Nate Ament after we've left this draft, and I know I basically asked for him. I wasn't aware I was asking for him, but I asked for him during the draft. But I just think we're in a unique situation where these last 8 to 10 years has been pressure. Win, 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 win. Now, just go hoop and let's let the cards fall where they may. And that's a beautiful situation to be in with Taylor Jenkins as your head coach, I think. So I don't think it's a bad question. I don't think Chris had a bad answer, but I just think there's no pressure. Everybody expects us to suck anyways. So just be decent and grow. Learn, absorb the game. And I think I might put a little bit of Trey Crosby's money down, a little $5, $10 bet on Nate Mint to be Rookie of the Year. Why not, man? Y'all got all the money.
I'd love it. I don't see it, but I love it.
What's that payout? I'm sure. What would that pay out?
That might be a donation.
I don't know, but that's why I'm putting either Trey or JT or Chris King money down. I don't put my own money on it.
Might be a donation on that one.
I mean, I understand that there are a ton of depth in the front court, but like to me, it's like they're different positions. Like, where is the center? And Miles Turner is a center. Pete Nance, I don't know that he has the ceiling to be a mainstay. Like he's more of a I think I look at him more of like a wing. I'm not seeing him as like.
I think he's a stretch four. He can't defend. I don't think he defends as well.
Yeah, but
at that level.
He's not going to score inside though that often. I mean, he does get on the glass a little bit, so I'll give that to him. He could be a 4, but then like outside of that is Usman. Then what would Usman be, a 3?
Yeah, I think Us is a wing to me. Us is a real wing.
So then Jaquez is also a wing.
Jaquez is a wing to me as well.
So to
me your bigs are. Well, again, now he's still here at the moment, but they're Kuz, as Mock Tumon points out, bigs Ware, Turner, which I agree. Ware, Turner, Sims are to me all 5s. And then to me, your other 4s are Kuz, Nance, and a Mint. And again, could you play a small ball 4 with Lewis? Could you? Yeah. Could you play a small ball 4 with Us? Yeah, you could. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, Liger Capo is right. Yeah, the only actual 4s you got are Kuz and Nance. Those are your 2 legit 4s.
Yeah. So that room is a little understanding if you're trading Kuz, like if you're getting off it, then that room is wide open. Correct.
Which I do believe listen, and somebody else asked about it. Mike Tomas says, who are we getting when we trade Miles and KPJ? I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if that's the package. We'll see. But let's get into that now. To that phase of it here with what the Bucks currently have. Appreciate you if you're joining us. Good number of people in the room right now as we're talking Bucks, talking this thing through. But let's talk about what we do know now. And I see you scrolling across the bottom of the screen as well. KPJ opts in at around $5 million or something like that in his player option, and then you had Jericho Sims who opted in his player option as well. And then you have the note that it sounded like Gary Trent will not opt in. Gary Harris opted in too, didn't he? Didn't Gary Harris opt in?
He better opt in if he didn't.
Yeah, I think Gary Harris opted in too. So you talk about the guard room being pretty large, but yeah, thick. Crazy. But
large.
Whoa.
Large.
It's large, it's thick, girthy, all that.
You got to reach Mike. Keep this up. You got to reach that boy Mike.
And Jake Rose says Gary Harris did opt in. So you have those things that do happen. The reports as well that Kuz could be the Bucks are looking at Kuz for trades. They're looking at Miles Turner for trades. Potentially also looking at Tyler Herro for a trade pack. Those are the 3 names we've heard. Of course, I think I haven't seen anything about KPJ in a package or that the Bucks are looking. That could be the case as well. I could see it. I could see again. You look at this guard room. Is AJ Green really needed? Like I don't think AJ Green is as needed. Like he's a great guy. When you have a guy like Giannis who's attracting a lot of attention to kick out to an AJ Green, that's a big deal. When you don't have the source of openness, that really gets AJ open, or the fact that if you have a guy on AJ, the driving lane's open. So now, I don't know if he's as valuable now to the Milwaukee Bucks as he was maybe with a Giannis, but that remains to be seen as well. But this one we're going to open it back up to the floor. I forgot. Yeah, we didn't talk about Kasparis either, but we'll open it to the floor of like you guys pointed out, guard room is does have a lot of guards, so you have a lot of guards going. You're a little thin on the front line, at least at the fours. You do have some bigs. What do you think is gonna happen? What do you want to see? I mean, it's really kind of open-ended here as far as when you look at this roster and the construction of it. Chris pointed out, well, it seems like John Horst is going for depth. Again, so answer however you want. I do want to say, and I'll start this off by saying, I don't care what anything goes on. I want to see Tyler Herro in Milwaukee. I'd rather not see him traded, and I'll tell you my main reason why. One, and again, is Tyler Herro going to be a number one superstar on a title winning team? More than likely, no. He's not that. He's not that. But he's averaged 25 before. He's been a former All-Star. But most importantly, again, and this is the difference that they had about when we talked about Pat Riley, right? And all the Milwaukee Bucks don't sit on South Beach. It is hard to find guys that want to be in Milwaukee. Tyler Herro strikes as a guy because he's from here. He would want to be in Milwaukee. And if you get a quasi-star and all-star level player that wants to be here, that at the moment they average 25 ain't like, yo, get me up out of here. That's what I want. And then two, on the Tyler Herro thing, I think the thing people are afraid of is the fact that he's up for extension. He could demand $35, $40 million a year. But that's an old school way of thinking. $40 million in old school status is, damn, they paying for. Why the hell Tyler Herro getting $40 million? In 2026, $40 million is not even 25% of the cap. So you have to think of it in terms of how much of the cap is he taking up. And if you were to pay Tyler Herro $40 million, it's not like you have broken the budget on the Buck that you couldn't go do something else with more money. And that's my main thing. So is he worth 40? Probably not. He's probably, to me, worth somewhere between 30 and 36, 37-ish. Now again, he's got to stay healthy too. That's another big part of it. But the first thing I'll say again before we get into everybody else, I do want Tyler Herro here. I want to give him a chance. And the other thing is this, last thing else on this too. Why are we so quick? We got to trade him today. Get him out of here. Why? You can trade him at the deadline. If you really don't, you don't have to. Everybody slow down. Sometimes when you're in it, you got to have some motion with it. You can't be a rabbit in there now. You can't just be a rabbit in there. You got to, hey, now. Sometimes you got to slow stroke that thing now. So I'm just saying, calm down. You got to calm down. You don't have to trade him today, man. Like, just relax. Let this thing play out. Go ahead. I ain't even on the cuss. I ain't even on
cut JT's R&B on.
No, so the thing about Tyler Herro, and for clarity here, when is he up? When's his contract up?
I'll look, but he's extension elsewhere. I think he's in the last year of his contract.
That's what So that's the issue with Tyler Herro is, what are those talks go like? If it's clear that you're not going to be able to extend him, if it's clear that he's just delusional about his value, then I think you're right. You were thinking 30 to 36. I was thinking somewhere between 28 and 35. So we're kind of aligned.
He's at 30. He's making 33 this year.
Of what we think, right? So, yeah, I think that the thing is I saw, by the way, somebody had a rumor. Somebody proposed a trade of Tyler Herro for Jalen Jalen Duren out of Detroit. I don't know. Hey, man, I would do that, but at the end of the day, I think that Tyler Herro.
Let me ask you. I want to stop you right because I want to ask you about that. Because about Jalen Duren. I saw Jalen Duren in the playoffs this year. I was not impressed. I get, how old is he? 23, 24?
He's only like 22. Jalen Duren 22. 21.
Okay.
22 years old.
He could be great. I was not impressed with Jalen Duren. But then if you do that, you got to move Miles Turner. And my other thing is, I just got the 22-year-old I want is Khalil Ware. That's the guy I want. But go ahead.
And so that's the other thing is you think about Jalen Duren, and you're like, man, he's 22 and he's good. Jalen Duren is good, but the other issue is The rumors that he's not happy with the numbers he's been being offered in Detroit, right? So either way, you're going to have to break the bank for one of these guys, if you've got questions about them. But, I think when it comes to making moves, I would be willing to bet some money that either Miles Turner or Kyle Kuzma will not be on this roster in the fall. I just think that those are one of the two guys that you have to move if you're going to continue to make moves and make trades. I just don't see how you keep both of them on the roster moving forward. And I'm really not even sure there's a significant fit with this team at this point. I would argue that I think Miles Turner probably has a bit more value than Kyle Kuzma does. Just because I think some teams may see Miles Turner, may see how he's a fit with them and go, there are rumored to be some teams that do covet Miles Turner this year, despite the fact that he did not have the best year with the Bucks, right? They're looking at his overall track record and some of the things that he does well, and they're figuring that he can, they can kind of plug him into their squad. But on the same note, you're 100% right. Khalil Ware, I probably messed it. Khalil Ware. How do I pronounce his first name?
Khalil.
So it is Khalil Ware. Yeah, I mean, I think that is a good young piece that you have here, and he can absolutely, and he can ball. I mean, you don't 7-footers that shoot 40% from three don't grow on trees, right? You just never see that. That's what I think was when he shot this last season, 39.5% or something like that. We'll call it 40%. And I think he can play defense. He can ball. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out with him. But isn't he? What's the deal with his? Is he up for an extension, or what's his contract situation? Because I think that's going to factor into who you move, who you don't. What's their contract situations look like, right?
Khalil Ware is under. I'll look it up for you. I'll look it up. Go ahead. I'll look it up.
I would think that given his age and given that you got him in the building, you wouldn't want to really give him up, right? You may want to when you're thinking of guys to be your cornerstones. I think Chris was kind of alluding to this too. You got Burries, you got Ahmet, you got potentially Ware. You have some pieces there. I don't know what we're going to do with Ryan Rollins again. Remember, if we really just end up wanting to hit the button here, Ryan Rollins is the best contract in the NBA right now. Arguably, Ryan Rollins is the best contract in the NBA. He's still under contract for, I believe, 2 more seasons after this year, or 1 more season after this year. So, if we really want to hit the button, we could trade Ryan Rollins for an absolute haul. But, I would prefer not to do that at this point. I think Chris hit the nail on the head, too. He said you said it earlier, Trey. AJ Green, Derrick Bird, what is his role in this team? Because you're right. You don't have that attraction in the middle. Giannis drawing double teams to kick him out, let him just spot up here. That's not the squad you're looking at this point. So we saw, when that was not the case, we've seen him go very long stretches with subpar production. It's not the same. It's not the same player when you have everybody collapsing on Giannis and you kick the ball out, let him spot up and chuck it. Everybody knows he's going to do that. So would another team be interested in bringing him in if they have that type of attraction? If they have that type of thing with the offense where, look, get to your spot. He going to find you. When they collapse on him, he going to find you. Here you go. You're going to get 9 threes a game, right? I don't know. I think there may be some value in maybe shopping AJ Green around.
For what it's worth, I do want to answer your question there. Where is in year 2 of I guess he's going to be going into year 3 of his rookie scale contract. So he's under team control this year and next year, and then he's a restricted free agent 28-29. So you can still match anything for him. So basically, he's under team control for quite some time, which again is why I like the deal that the Bucks got in the trade. But we keep rolling here. Whoever.
Yeah, to me, I think when you look at the way that this team is shaped up, I think you immediately understand, like, this is the makings of a new head coach. Like, this is the new head coach having a little bit of say in maybe the roster construction, and maybe it's the opposite way around. Maybe it's John Horst grabbing these players to play to the strengths that he thinks Taylor Jenkins will bring, or that Taylor Jenkins sold him on. And from what I know, I know that Taylor Jenkins likes, guards that can, play with the pick and roll, and I think that we're loading up on that guard talent. I think he also is going to need guards to play that up tempo style, and I think that we're doing just enough to right now in the meantime, doing just enough to like have different options in the front court. I mean, you went and got – I just told you Castro had multiple 20-rebound games in the Atlantic 10. I mean, that's a two-way guy, but – you know, Malik Lewis is a guy 6 rebounds a game in the Australian League. You've got Pete Nance can rebound a little bit. He had a couple of games where he can rebound. Miles Turner, that's debatable, but like, you know, you get Khalil Ware, you get Jaime Jaquez, like, and to me, it just looks like, okay, this team is going to be catered towards the way Taylor Jenkins wants to play. Now, where I would think the philosophy of Taylor Jenkins, where certain guys don't fit, then AJ Green, not a guy who's going to create with the ball in his hands, not a guy who's going to get out and transition a lot and make you pay. Maybe he's an odd man out there, I would say. And then I would say just it's time for a fresh start with Kuz. It doesn't have to do anything with how I think he fits with Taylor Jenkins and whatnot. To me, it's just I think it's time for a fresh start and him to get out of Milwaukee and him to go somewhere else and us to give up on that experiment, because it's just it was up and down a lot of times, and I'm not saying he didn't have good moments, but I would say timeline wise doesn't strike me as the guy to continue to stay along with this rebuilding or retooling team.
I feel like I'm about to be like one of them young boys that go and announce where they're going. But y'all seen this draft hat? This is probably one of the coldest draft hats we'd have never had in Milwaukee. But because y'all brought up Tyler Herro, shout out to Pipe Bomb because he gets mad when I do this. But we're going to put this Tyler Herro Brewers hat on tonight, especially since the Brewers beat the Cubs tonight. And that's how important this Buck stuff is to me right now. We right here locked in with the Bucks, with the Brewers beating the hell out of Greg and those boys from the north side. So do you keep Tyler Herro? Absolutely you do. Do you extend him? Absolutely you do. Trey, you mentioned it. It's not a lot of people that are from here that want to be here. Hell, Latrell Sprewell wouldn't come here. Go down the litany of guys from Milwaukee. Tyler Herro wants to be here. And you know what I like about Tyler? I think he has a chip on his shoulder because things didn't work out the right way in Miami, and now he has something to prove. Shout out to Lil Baby. The other thing is this. I went to the play-in game in Charlotte. I saw Tyler Herro after Bam went down with that injury where he fell on LaMelo's foot. Call it what you want to call it. We're not here to debate that because we're not Hornets or Heat fan. But Tyler Herro single-handedly carried that Miami Heat team to double overtime. And I think if you put him with a coach who is up and coming like Taylor Jenkins, who has a history of developing young guys and can get a point guard to play with them, and we got bigs now with Ware, and we got allegedly Miles, we got allegedly Kuz, whoever we have. Hey, man, check ball, let's hoop, and let's see what happens. I'm for extending Herro. I'm cool with 40 to 45 million a year. What you mentioned, this isn't 2016 where 40 million a year is what Giannis' max is. 40 million.
Trae Young's getting 50. Trae Young's getting 50.
Wait a minute, what?
Herro's better than Trae Young. Go ahead. That's all I got.
I'm just saying. Trae Young's getting 50. That's crazy. I do want to. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Were you going to talk about the Herro Kuz situation?
No, I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah,
that's funny. that I think that's true too. So I mean, I would agree.
I think he was with her. I do want to. There is some news out of Toronto. Sandro, he played for the Bucks for a second. Mamu Kalashvi. But anyway, Mamu with the Bucks. Played with San Antonio for a second too. Opting out of a $2.8 million player option, going to hit the open market. Good. Talk about a good forward. That's out there. He could play some basketball. Rebound, tough guy. Sandro gone out of. Well, let me not say he's gone, but he is going to opt out of his player option because again, he's going to get more. He's going to get more than 2.8. He get more 2.8. Anyway,
he had a hell of a year last year.
Yeah, no, he can play. He can play.
But I'm with Chris. I don't fault Chris for saying he wouldn't bring him back. That's going to be a big ego check for John Horst to bring him back. Remember, John let that guy walk. He could have kept him in Milwaukee if he chose to.
Is that a hit on a draft pick from John Horst?
You could argue that's a hit. You could Sam Merrill. Yeah, Sam Merrill. You could argue is a hit.
Yeah.
Did he draft Dante?
He did.
Yeah.
You could argue that's a hit.
I don't know about that.
What did he get picked? 17?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know that that's a hit though. It just now he just tore his Achilles, and I mean, he had some productive years, some years that we felt like maybe if he doesn't get hurt, Bryn Forbes doesn't have the series that he has against the Heat in 21. So I don't know. I would, if Dante DiVincenzo retired today, it would kind of be like
yeah.
Okay.
I think injuries definitely hurt him a bit. But let me ask you guys another question about let's talk about this guard room for a bit, because there's a lot of guys there. We talked about Miles and Kuz being guys that people think may be traded, but this guard room, do you question, especially with KPJ opting back in, which I didn't know if that was really going to happen, just based upon having Rollins, you get Barry's, you have again AJ Green, you got Kasparis from Miami, who again I'm very high on him, 20-year-old guy out of Miami. Rollins, of course. What do you this guard room? How does this play out? What do you want to see? Should KPJ be a guy that the Bucks are dangling in trades? Because again, I think for $5 million, I think he's a good player. I think on a certain team he can help you. Does he fit Taylor Jenkins' system? But what do you want to see out of this guard room?
I think it's AJ Green. I think it's AJ Green, man. Like, and you gentlemen alluded to it earlier, but unfortunately, man, I think we're getting to the point where his time has come to go. And I hate to say it, because I really like AJ Green as a player, as a person. I think he's a good young dude, and he brought a lot to us. But his fit, everyone said it's questionable right now. And then you got to trade one of those other guards, one of the veteran guys that we had, that two-headed monster, because I don't think with bringing in JT's boy, it's just no room. I'm sorry. Go ahead, JT. I'm sorry, bro.
No, you took the words out of my mouth. I think Ryan Rollins and KPJ, I think that's probably what you're looking at. You're going to have to make a move. Obviously, Derry Bird, right? I think AJ Green is foregone conclusion. I think we're all unanimously agree that that's probably one of the people you got to move. But at this point, do you move Ryan Rollins or KPJ? I mean, do you go through another season with both of those guys on this roster again? You know, I don't know. And you know, so what I want to see is who becomes the lead dog, right? Who becomes the lead dog? If it's a true competition, like you guys alluded to, who becomes the lead dog? Does Ryan Rollins come out and assert himself right away and show, no, this guard room runs through me. I am the guy, right? It's potentially possible. He could 100% build on what he did last year. And then, you know, then that makes the conversation a bit easier, right? Okay, all right. Well, obviously, Burris you just picked, so that's it. All right, so then KPJ becomes expendable, right? But again, KPJ has a little bit of injury history too, right? Remember, KPJ has missed a number of games over these last couple of years too. So,
2 knee surgeries.
You know what? So what?
Wasn't it 2 knee surgeries? Didn't he have 2?
Yeah, KPJ's had a number of. The thing about KPJ, and this is where my bias lies. What I like about KPJ is he 100% can run your second unit. And remember, when he was coming off the second team like 2 years ago, he was a highly efficient scorer and was getting buckets in here. He was only getting like 20 to maybe 23 minutes a night, but was, you know, thriving in that role. So maybe it's a situation where if you keep him, you go back to that. KPJ, you run over the second unit, right? Or even maybe even, you know, if somebody's outshining Ryan Rollins, maybe Ryan Rollins will run over the second unit. But my gut feeling is that one of those two guys is probably gonna have to go, you know, provided you're not exceeding some injuries.
Yeah, to me, when I look at this, I'm like, yeah, I already mentioned that I think AJ Green doesn't fit in this style of play and maybe on this roster with the amount of guards. But like, I think maybe, guys, we just had so many issues having like actual guard depth on our team for the past couple of years that maybe this is a good thing. Like maybe this is a thing where maybe KPJ or Rollins don't have to go, and maybe we figure that out later, right? You figure that out later. You figure it out next year. You figure it out at deadline. Because if I look at it, I'm like, each and every one of these guards has a different kind of skill set. And if we can utilize that to our advantage, right? Kasparis is a pass-first guard. He can score it a little bit. Ryan Rollins, it seems to be a two-way, but can also score at all three levels. You got KPJ, who's a microwave scorer, but is now also showing a little bit of quality when it comes to getting other teammates involved. And Burries is going to make the right plays. He's gonna shoot threes. He's going to score from all three levels, and he's going to hopefully be able to take over games eventually in his career. So like everybody has that different skill set. If we look back these past couple of years, it was just who was it last year? Dame and KPJ, and then it was KPJ, Ryan Rollins, and Cole Anthony. Like, I think we're just in a much better spot here to where we don't maybe have to make these huge decisions on these players' futures yet. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks with a new coach. Let's see how it looks without Doc Rivers holding some of these guys back or calling them selfish for them playing their game. Like, whatever it is, let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, no question. Go ahead.
Can I ask y'all a question? Who's better, in your opinion, AJ Green or Duncan Robinson?
Duncan Robinson.
I feel like Duncan Robinson's done more in his career to date.
Okay.
I mean,
So
he's
go
also
Duncan
got
Robinson.
better frame. I think he's way taller, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Let me see. Iron Man Clan says, we just watched the Knicks run lines with Brunson, McBride, and Alvarado. You can never have too many guards. That's a good point. McBride wasn't good in the finals, but yeah, you absolutely. There's no question. Infasa says, yeah, just getting rid of guys who are brought in even with disaster before you see what things are going to really look like it's kind of a bad idea. Yeah, no, I agree, man. Let's see it play out. And again, I'm going to trust. I know this might be a controversial take. I'm going to trust John Horst to get this right. I'm going to try. Again, people were upset at the package and what it's really not that. It really could it have been better if you traded Giannis in year two. When he had a couple years left on his deal, probably because you got more. I think really the only thing you would have got better is maybe a better pick package. But I think from a package or collection of young talent, again, we talked about this the other night. You transformed the franchise overnight into an old team centered around Giannis, who continued to be injured all the time, to a very young basketball team. Again, that has some promise. And again, if you can get rid of Miles Turner and Kuzma. And again, you can turn this thing pretty quickly, and I think John Horst will do that. And again, it doesn't make any sense. We talked about this before. The Bucks don't own their own picks, so it doesn't behoove the Bucks to be bad or high draft. They don't help at all. So the Milwaukee Bucks, we're only helping Portland the worse we are. So the Milwaukee Bucks, you might as well, and that's why the whole thing about trading Herro for picks or anything like I get it, but let me tell you this. And again, not the Bucks are going to win anything. Tyler Herro right now, unless something else changes, right now, Tyler Herro is the difference between this. And again, this may not mean anything to you. Tyler Herro is the difference between this being a 35-win team and maybe a 45-win team. Maybe that means nothing to you. Maybe you don't care about winning 45 games and getting into play-in and competing. But for me, I'm going to take – because, again, you do have so many young players. Burris, Brandon Burris, Kasparis, Khalil Ware. I think that would be important to get into the play-in and to play in some meaningful games, right? To be maybe you are battling in the in-season tournament where there's money on the wood, right? Like maybe I think that kind of stuff is important for a young, growing, hungry basketball team. And again, if you don't have Tyler Herro at the fort putting up 20, he's gonna have to put up 20, 25 a night. If Hero's not doing that, this is a lottery team. And congratulations, Portland, for whatever picks you're gonna get for the Bucks being bad. So I think you gotta be, I think you've got to, again, there's a delicate balance of being young and growing and being hungry and all that. But I think you do want to be competitive and win some basketball games too.
You think this team right now, all you gentlemen, with the way the roster is constructed, not one more move either way, and we know there's more moves coming, is a top 10 team in the East?
Top 10 in the East.
Yes.
I think you can say that. I think it's close. Like
Yeah,
he might be 8-9, but
that's what I think. If I was gonna say top 10, boy, we the Dak Prescott. We're the 10. Is that what you're saying?
Had to cut it at the play-in, my brother. Had to cut it at the last play-in spot, my brother.
Yeah, because I think you're still better than Chicago. You're still better than Brooklyn. You're still better than, well, again, the question is Indiana's gonna come. You're still, to me, I know people. Washington has got some guys now. I think you're right on the edge of that. Because no, Charlotte's gonna continue to be well. I don't know about Charlotte anymore. It's a good point. Charlotte may have taken. I think Charlotte's taking a step back. So yeah, you're right in that 9-10 range. I think so.
Let me ask you guys this question, and I've been dying to get this out. Do you, after watching this draft, right? Do you guys think John Horst is the right guy to take us through this rebuild?
I mean, he got set up on a silver platter with being able to trade Giannis. Like, you weren't gonna he found the best package, sure, but he was gonna get something that set us up in a better spot than, you know, typically a superstar would give you in a return package. So, like, I think we were all happy with the decision that he made to pull the trigger on that specific trade. And I mean, it all came down to the drafting, and we felt like he did it. We left day one on the draft shows thinking, all right, well, it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't bad. He made the right picks, we thought, at the time. He took the best available, took the guys that are young with high ceilings, but also took some production. So, like, to us, I feel like it was maybe it wasn't the right decision for him to be here by this time, but he is, and we're kind of dealing with it. And he's always been good in the trade and free agency stuff and all that stuff. And so I have no problem with it at this point. Now, if it fans out, if he made a wrong decision, then his leash is going to be cut.
I think, and I'm Captain Obvious on this, I think it's his best draft ever. And like Chris just alluded to, he had everything put in the right position to be successful. I think this is his first time drafting in a lottery too. So
it is.
Let's see what happens. Like, we were throwing his brother over the coals for AJ Johnson, DJ Wilson,
and rightfully so.
Picks like that, and I get, and neither one of you two brothers, Chris King or you two JT, neither one of you were wrong with Terrence Shannon being a pick that year when we took AJ Johnson. I'm not saying that, but
I get bullshit from.
I don't even know who that dude is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it's too many of those. Like, where we get that dude from? It's like, I don't know. Was it a panic pick? Was it just, oh my gosh, right? Did you just phone in the wrong guy? I mean, has taken a shellacking online for his draft picks, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because there'll be somebody else on the board, and he goes and thinks, I got somebody that nobody else sees coming. We're gonna run the sneak attack, right? Well, what is that? Like, I know he does, but I hear you, Justin. Like, I hear what you're saying, and I think that, like Trey said, he didn't blow it in this draft. He didn't draft somebody goes, why the hell would you pick him? Doesn't make any, like, he didn't do anything that made you scratch your head. And I think the Bucks draft grade universal was like a B, right? I think the pundits kind of the reporters kind of felt the same way. Like, all right, yeah, that's pretty good, right? And, which that's better than some of the other draft grades, right? Like, that's better than. So I don't know, but I asked that question because you guys talked about the haul. I know there's some people who wanted the Boston package, but again, I don't see the point. Why trade for a kind of aging vet here and be in the same spot? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So I get that. But yeah, I'm just curious as to what you guys did. If you guys,
let me push back on one thing, just one thing. And I hear you on the draft stuff. Here's my thing, man. I'm not trying to turn this into Cream City curveball tonight. I'd rather you strike out swinging than strike out with that bat sitting on your shoulder. One thing about John Horst with those home run picks, he swung and missed, but damn it, he was swinging that bat, so I'm okay with it.
Nah, not the right analogy. That's like I don't know. Let me think. Because you got to think about how the team was already set up to win.
I think that was the worst part about it. And that's why the Native Mint pick, when everybody's talking about it, was this is where, and again, you did have 10 in front of it, so you could pick Braden Burris. But that's why if you want to call it a swing or whatever, a high upside, this is when you do it. When the expectations are lower and you're trying to find that guy, that diamond in the rough. You don't do it when you're trying to win a championship and you need somebody to help today, and you go pick a guy that put up 2 points out in Australia or whatever hell AJ Johnson league he was playing. That's not when you do it. And that was my biggest problem with John Horst, is not getting guys in that could help Giannis today. And again, you can make the argument that the picks you can make the argument some picks he made, if you make better decisions, better choices, Giannis is still here today. I don't know that, but I'm just saying in theory, you could make that argument. But to answer your question, JT, yeah, I like John Horst. Had issues in the draft, but you mentioned Marjan Beauchamp. Somebody else mentioned it. He's now flipped him for KPJ. So you righted that wrong, right? Like you were able to get off of someone more bad picks. Boom, I'm bringing in Ryan Rollins. So imagine if he had just picked Ryan Rollins. This is a guy you developed. He seems to find a way at times to, at the very least, even if you've made a bad selection or a bad pick, to reverse it and bring somebody else, another young player in, and get the most out of that guy. Again, AJ Green, was he a second round pick, or was he undrafted?
Was he undrafted?
Undrafted free agent. You bring him in, and he's been a serviceable player. And again, is he the greatest player in the world? But no, he's outperformed plenty of guys that got drafted in the second round that were, in some of the first at this point. And again, if you trade him, maybe you're getting more assets. So that's a win. To me, is he drafted well? No, but he finds a way at certain times to either flip those or flip assets and kind of make it in a little bit of way of a wash. But again, he's been great doing trade. He is great at trading, and he's in on everything. Another guy I want to talk about in a second here. The trade that Minnesota makes for LaMelo Ball. Again, the Bucks were in on it. Like, he is in on every single thing. We'll see if he talk about another guard. Could he be in on Ja Morant? We know he's made calls before. Could I see it? Absolutely, I could. Absolutely, I could see the Bucks doing it. It's probably not the direction I would go at this point without Giannis. But could I see John Horst trying to do it? There's no question. The Milwaukee Bucks could do a lot of different things here. But keep going with that, and then I do want to we'll get to some other stuff going on in the NBA.
Brother, I don't want Ja Morant anywhere near this locker room. To be honest with you, no sir, absolutely not.
You don't think Ja Morant has? This is the only thing I say on Ja.
Demetrius? Nah, not Demetrius.
This is the only thing I say.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where guys, you get to a point where you're so low that you're at that breaking point of your career is either going to shit or you're going to turn it back around. Ja Morant at his peak, he's an all-star level, superstar-ish level talent. Iron Man Clan says Ja's a Taylor Jenkins guy. Exactly. So again, you know what he did in Memphis with him. Dare I say, I do think if he's learned his lesson, Ja Morant as a talent is there. Ja Morant as a talent is there. I have a feeling, again, I don't think it's going to be the Bucks. I do have a feeling wherever he goes, he's going to turn it back around and turn back into the Ja Morant that we knew and was quickly becoming a face of the league. That'd just be my prediction. I think he's learned his lesson, and I think he's going to figure it out. And again, I do think the Grizzlies, as you mentioned, as Elijah Capo mentioned, they're begging somebody to take him. They're probably going to have to add draft picks away to they probably have to attach draft picks away and assets to get off of him. But I think I just have a feeling he's going to turn around. He's going to make somebody very happy. That's my thought.
I hope you're right. That's the thing. I hope you're right about Ja. I think the issue is when you talk about your career, you get to the point, your breaking point, where your career is almost over, you realize something's got to change. I think that takes a level of self-reflection and maturity. And I've not seen anything that indicates that Ja Morant has either one of those. Having said that, from a basketball perspective, you're right, Trey. Ja Morant, like 2-3 years ago, was on top of the world. I mean, Ja Morant was, the face of any and everything, all NBA. Ja Morant was elite. Finished pretty high in MVP voting a few years ago. I mean, Ja Morant was, but I think the issues that he's had, the stuff that's come out, probably I'm assuming there may be more stuff that has not come out. It really makes you kind of pause on, do you want to add him to such a young locker room? Because the problem is you don't get to come in at 30 and not be expected to have some sort of leadership, right? Like you can't be the 30-year-old crash out. Wait a minute, right? Like coming into that locker room, you got to have some sort of leadership role. Right, being the seasoned vet in the room, which he would be if he did come in that lock, at least that guard room.
Yeah, to me, I think I would agree with some of the chat and just say that I don't know that I would make the move for Ja Morant at this point, because I think that just the way his game is. Could I have talked myself into it if you were still trying to keep Giannis here? Yeah, maybe, because I think just like he's going to put butts in seats, and he's going to be, I think even his lowest point, he's still a good, entertaining player. But I just don't know, in the sense of a rebuild, how valuable that is to have him around, certainly a guard room that's, younger, or if not the same age as the guy. And yeah, maybe there's some chemistry with Taylor Jenkins there. Maybe Taylor Jenkins would bring out the best in Ja, but I just don't think it's right for us to go and do that. I think there are other areas on the team that could be addressed, and you could probably find some talent that can address those positions and without less of a headache. So I think it would be good to just stand pat and not have to go after Ja.
Let me say this, Justin, I was going to say, but all this talk, and Chris, you just said it. I see in the chat, rebuild. When we talk rebuild, I would just be cautious of that word.
Retool.
Well, right, because and I say that because the guy who's sitting in one of those owner slots, Jimmy Haslam. Watch, you see what he does with Cleveland. Is he right? No. Does he get it right all the time? No, maybe not. Jimmy Haslam. You talk about Justin. You probably like Jimmy Haslam. Talk about a guy who's always swinging. He's not striking out with the bat on his shoulder. Deshaun Watts. I'm just telling you, it may not be this year, and it may not be Ja Morant. I don't think it will be Ja Morant. I don't think, when you talk about rebuild, I don't believe it's going to be. I don't think he's going to sit pat for 4-5 years and let this thing try to rebuild an asset. I think he's going to push, and when something makes sense again. That's why talk about rebuild. What kind of rebuild are you in when you trying to go get LaMelo Ball? That don't sound. That's what I'm saying. To me, when I heard that report, that let me know immediately. If they can accelerate this, they are going to try to as fast as possible. Like, I don't see, again, I hear rebuild, but they are going, if as soon as they think they can go get somebody that can win basketball games that makes sense, they are going to do it. There's no question.
We're not in a rebuild. We're in a reload. It's different. Go look at Pat Murphy's Brewers a couple years ago. That was supposed to be a rebuild year 2. The gap year already happened, and Giannis forced it on himself because his calf couldn't stay healthy, and now we're in it. Hey, look, man, I'm cool with Ja. Bring Ja here because it's all about marketability, and it's about economics. And Ja's going to fill those seats like Chris said, but this is the thing. Because JT's uneasy about it. Some of the chat's uneasy about it. You got to ban T. Morant. T. Morant, you can't come in here now. I can bring Ja, and Ja, you can go crazy, but T, you got to sit this one out, bro. Or if you're going to come, you got to go to an owner's suite. You can't be courtside. You can't be getting in. Because listen, T, this is not Memphis. You're not going to get a pass like them Kia boys that get you when the security goes away. So fall back, T, and Ja Morant with the chip on his shoulder, Tyler Herro with a chip on his shoulder, should be Miles Turner with a chip on his shoulder. No more Legos, no more cats. Khalil Ware, chip on his shoulder. Bring in a bunch of guys that got something to prove, and let's just see where this goes. I think Taylor Jenkins is a master motivator. I think he's turned a bunch of guys who were just guys into sustainable NBA players. When you're looking at Dylan Brooks, you're looking at Triple J, you're looking at Ja at his all-time high. And if we can get a glimpse of that here in Milwaukee, just watch out, man. We may go further than Eric Spoelstra and that, whatever that team is that he coaches.
The only issue that I have with Ja, the other issue I have with Ja coming in, because I think you're right, Justin. I think the other issue I have is, boy, that's a lot of change very quickly. That is a lot. You got a new coach in. You got all these guys. You got different personality, trying to bring in the young guys. And then you're going to bring him in too. Look, man, Taylor Jenkins got the absolute best out of Ja Morant, but he also was a part of Ja Morant's absolute worst, right? And we got to call this thing both ways here. And because of that, I just don't think that's. I think we can. We have better options. I think we have better options for this team. Not necessarily saying that better play, but better options for this team. And for those reasons, I think we should stay out of the Ja Morant talks.
Yeah, I also think that, like, I don't know. I would just say that they're going to be players that open up in the future that are looking to maybe be moved, or teams are looking to move off of certain players that I think would catch my eye a little more than Ja Morant at this point in his career. So I don't know who those players are going to be. I mean, you know, you hear all the talk. We saw Jalen Duren and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe not, but at the same time, I think they've got the assets now, I think, and the depth to make some moves around the margins. And I just wouldn't rather spend it on Ja Morant.
I want to ask you guys. Let's as it's 12:30. It's 12:30 on the East Coast. What'd you say?
I said John Wall. He's a Carolina boy.
Well, he doing media. I want to ask you guys about. I want to keep moving here as we get this thing wrapping a little bit. I want to ask you guys about like I said, the LaMelo Ball trade. Anything else you guys want to get at in the NBA or in anything real quick? But I do want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts real quick? LaMelo Ball to Minnesota. I want to say it was Naz Reid, a first round, and then maybe 3 swaps, which I don't even know if they're going to convey. But your thoughts when you saw that from a Charlotte perspective and from a Minnesota perspective.
And 3 second rounds.
And 3 seconds.
My only thing with that was, why would Charlotte do that? I don't understand the thought. What is the thought process of? Is there something we don't know?
I don't think Charles Lee likes. My guess is Charles Lee does not enjoy coaching LaMelo Ball. That's my thought. I could be wrong.
Because I thought the Charlotte franchise kind of looks like they about to turn things around a little bit, right? Unfortunate that things were going in their favor this last year. I don't understand the thought process unless you're expecting, Miller to take a bigger. I just don't understand. I don't get that. I didn't get this as to why Charlotte would do this. But now when you say Charles Lee's having trouble or whatever it was, there's conflict between LaMelo and the coaching staff or the front office, that makes sense. But it seems like these trade winds started blowing, and within 12 hours later, he was actually moved, I was just kind of stunned to see that.
Well, it also has to do with the fact that they just extended Kobe White. So Kobe White gets that position.
He's not close as good as LaMelo Ball.
I don't know. I mean, but you say that, but I mean, LaMelo Ball is a certified. I mean, he's not a winner. None of them are winners. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, so I guess you can't make that argument for Kobe White. But I mean, he definitely seems a little more disciplined than LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball is pretty overrated, to be honest. Like I don't know that he gets you anywhere I don't think he gets the Timberwolves anywhere as a second option. Like I think you saw different guys step up in Anthony Edwards' absence last year. McDaniels had a 35-point game. Shannon Jr. had 25-plus point game, I believe. Like, look, to me, it was just a stupid move from both sides. Like, yeah, Naz Reid is – I don't know how much he's going to help the Charlotte Hornets, but I don't know how much LaMelo is going to solve the Timberwolves' issues. They need depth. They need more than just one other guy. And to me, they shipped Julius Randle out. There's a lot of holes that the Timberwolves still have to address. And maybe they do that. But I don't think LaMelo is just like I'm going to solve everything in Minnesota. And getting rid of Naz Reid, who admittedly, yes, he might have had a bad playoff series this year, but I always thought of him as like he's been a really good piece for them in the playoffs. And like a valuable guy for them, knocking down threes and defending pretty well. So I don't know. I just don't see why either team did it.
I'll push back so hard on the LaMelo not being a winning player, and I used to say stuff like that too. I watch him more now because I'm in Charlotte. I just think, man, like someone who said it, they didn't give him a good team till last season. Again, they were that was a real rebuilding upstart team. It was a bunch of trash. It was LaMelo Ball and a bunch of trash, and he put up numbers with a bunch of trash. And then finally, you get him some good players, Knipple, Brandon Miller. Even again, he's playing with what's his name? Diabate. He's known Diabate. Miles Bridges, another trouble guy. And they finally do numbers. And oh, by the way, and again, if you want to say something to me that makes sense, is that LaMelo Ball has injury issues. So I'll give you that. He says LaMelo got dog wall by the mat. Again, the guy who didn't do shit in the play-in was Con Knipple's the one who again, I'm not blaming him because he was a rookie. Con Knipple's the one
and Miles Bridges
who went missing in the play-in. It wasn't LaMelo. It was Con Knipple. And the other thing I talk about going to Minnesota, I do think this works. And again, do they win a championship? I don't know. I'm not going to go that far. They didn't win a championship without him, so I'm not going to say they can win a championship with him. But the guy who that's going to be work numbers for and do magic for, JT looking like Trump in the Oval Office with my eyes closed. But
hey, bro. Hey, buddy be slumped in the Oval Office. It ain't even like just a little bit, right? Like buddy be slumped. Then
but
mouth be open.
But what I was gonna say before I noticed that, the guy who is going to, I think is going to help work wonders for Rudy Gobert. I think the lobs that he is going to receive from LaMelo is going to do wonders.
So ass.
Wonders for what'd you say?
Minnesota's so ass. They literally have nobody outside of the starting five. Like they got Mike Conley coming off the bench, dusting cobwebs out of the drawers. Nah, he's up there though.
No.
What is he? 30 something? 38.
You talking about Mike Conley to play with Greg Oden? Wow. Yeah.
I just can't see it. Yeah. I just can't see the Timberwolves being good, nor the Hornets at this point.
So for Charlotte, I think you got to keep Kobe and keep him coming off the bench. I think you need to start Sion James. I thought in Melo's absence, I thought he ran the offense a little bit better in Charlotte than what Kobe did, but we'll see. But I do agree Minnesota gutted themselves tremendously. And wasn't Naz Reid just sixth man of the year either this year or the year before? So now you give up your backup big and the guy that hit shots year before, and this year was a little bit left to be desired, but I don't know. But one thing about LaMelo, though, man, I think when he's healthy and he's on and he plays in the right system, and I don't think, and Trey, you're absolutely right. Him and Charles Lee did not get along. It was nails on the chalkboard with those two gentlemen. LaMelo starting out the year would have negative things to say about Charles and stuff like that. So he didn't fit the system, but LaMelo has probably the best top 5 handles in the league right now. And when he's on, it's crazy. The bad thing, and where Chris is probably seeing a lot of it, when he's off, it's just as crazy. And the non-health thing is just a problem for me too. But I don't understand the move. But I'm an advocate for Sion James running the Charlotte Hornets, man. We should have had this boy Terry come on. Remember the guy that got down with us with the Hornets last year when we did Bucks and Hornets? Because it'd be interesting to hear what that brother thinks. But man, what was his point? Buzz City Boys, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Hey,
Yeah,
let me
man.
tell you.
Y'all go check that out and see what he has to say about it, man.
One more thing. Who else went to Minnesota that I told you gonna end up being a stud?
Who?
Isaiah
Shannon?
Evans. Isaiah Evans. Out of Duke. I think that was a great pick for him. All right, anything else you guys want to get at? As again, we hasten to a close here on the Cream City Crosser. Anything else we open it up? Open it up. What's up? What's up with your boy? Hey, listen. Hey, also, if you get your stuff stolen from you, just call the police. Make a report. Make a police report, man. You ain't got to. Hey, get your jury. Hey, Chris King, get your jury insured. Don't go try and run. Don't call people and try and get them to run it back. You end up with the green jumpsuit on. What's the man name out of Detroit? Huh? Yeah. What his name?
Oh, Terrion Arnold.
Terrion Arnold. Come on, man. You can't have people go get it back. That's what happened. OJ did the same thing. They took his stuff. He went and tried to get it. Man. Hey, you can't do that, dog.
Hey, he wild until he had the girls set him up and everything. Oh, Terrion Arnold just. I don't know if he
going to jail.
Oh, yeah, brother. I wouldn't be surprised if that contract is not terminated ASAP. Oh,
what I heard is they flipped. What I heard was right. He had the people go get his stuff for him, and basically, we'll go get it. Woo woo. They go do their thing, and I think he kind of thought, okay, bet they're gonna take the rap for it. But then they start throwing them numbers out because they didn't arrest him at the same time as they arrested all them other guys. They arrested the other people, and then they started throwing them numbers at him, and then it turned into Terrion was basically the mastermind trying to get all the stuff back.
You know what's crazy is like they already talking about his guaranteed money is at risk, and I think Terrion. Oh, Terrion, no, don't tell me he was up for an extension or 2026. I think he would be after this next year coming up. He'd have been up for an extension. Yeah.
So what does mean? He about to get the RICO?
I don't know what he about to get. Terrion, brother, he about to spend all his money at the commissary. Like that's what I know. That's what I know. The remainder of your guaranteed money is going towards cups of noodles, buddy. Right? Like Terrion's in bad shape, brother. Yeah, he about to get. I don't know what they're hitting him with, but I know they had him on the he was in the green vest, and I think he is facing a number of charges. I mean, unless somebody in the police department wants to do him a solid and just start messing with evidence or something, I don't see how this thing's going. This doesn't look good for Terrion. He looks cooked. As in,
what's the thing with the FaceTime getting pulled over thing? What's that?
That's Diana Rossini. Trey was talking about Diana Rossini got pulled over and was like, I'm friends with a head coach here. I'll call him for you. Like,
who your favorite team? Oh, I like the Panthers. Oh, I got Dave Canales. You want to FaceTime Dave Canales? Hey, if it was JT, who you want me to talk to? Oh, you got what's the name? Big Sig. You got Big Sig on face. Oh, I'm just Big Sig for you. Hey, okay. Let me out. I got Big Sig.
Harley Ursay Gordon. You know what's embarrassing? What happened to the so they're breaking up with Anthony Richardson. What happened to that? Now you got this man. Now he's still there because y'all couldn't move him. God, I just can't. They can't do nothing right. What's over there, Anthony Richardson? They can't do nothing right. He's still in that damn locker room. So now what you think he about to do?
Same thing. Right? Well, I mean, same thing. What's Jaylen Brown gonna do? Try to get rid of Jaylen Brown. And again, here's the thing of Jaylen Brown. That's the crazy thing to me is Jaylen Brown carried that friend. You can make this is another thing I say on Jaylen Brown. You can make an argument, and again, clearly the Boston Celtics believe that Jason Tatum is better than him, and maybe he is. You could, if I'm Jaylen Brown, you can't convince me that Jason Tatum is better than me, right. Because again,
no day.
Because Jason, right? I'm a Finals MVP.
Right.
Jason Tatum,
Eastern Conference MVP.
Eastern Conference MVP. Jason Tatum, and at the end of the day, Jason Tatum has never had to carry a team to 50-some wins by himself as the lead dog. He always had me there with him. So if I'm Jaylen Brown, I've done more for this franchise than you have. And again, whether you think he's a better player or not, that's fine. He hasn't had to do it. I've done it. That's where I'd be if I'm Jaylen Brown. And you dangle me in trades. Now, this is the second time. You did it for Giannis and you did it for KD. No, that's not gonna work this time. But we'll see. But I just don't know how that works.
Oh, this thing has to be over. This thing has to be over. You went and you mooned me while I was eating breakfast, right? You did one of the most disrespectful things you could possibly do by dangling me in trade talks for all these. Giannis, you was going to give me up. And I agree with you because 56 wins with guys. They thought this Boston team was cooked after Jason Tatum was there. They didn't think this team was going to do anything at all. And you got 56 guys, some contributions for some young boys in there too. And Jaylen Brown put this team on his back for the bulk of the season. And yes, Jason Tatum came back and played, 19 games, 18, somewhere between 15 to 20 games at the end of this year on a repaired Achilles. Looked good in some moments, didn't look great in others. But I agree with you, Trey. There's absolutely no way. You have disrespected this man and made it known that you think you can get better by getting rid of him on the heels of a season like this. Yeah, I think that relationship is cooked. Good old B-Rag going to figure this one out.
Yeah, I would
Let
say.
me go a step further and say, oh, go ahead.
No, I got quick thoughts on this. I'm just thinking to myself, wasn't that like the worst Celtics team we've seen in a while? Like year after year after year, they've been pretty top of the Eastern Conference, and then Jason Tatum goes down, and like the supporting cast, they ship off Horford, who had always been good for them. Holiday's gone, right? Like Simons, they tried to fill the void with Simons, and then they trade him during the season. Like, so I would give Jaylen Brown a lot of props for what he did this year.
They were trying. I think they were trying to tank. I think they were content with. I think they were okay being bad this year. And Jaylen Brown said, "Nope, we're gonna win 50-some games. Sense. Nope."
So, and you can even make the argument when Jason Tatum came back, he's the one that messed up the synergy of the team, and that's what caused them to struggle too. But, so now the ask, and I'm just curious what you gentlemen think about this. Allegedly, it's 4 first-round picks for Jaylen Brown, which is it's more than what Giannis says if you look at it, what Giannis received, on the surface level. But let's not get it misconstrued. We got 7 first-round picks for Giannis. When you look at the players that we got back, that's 4 of their first-round picks over the last 4 years, plus 3 in the future. But go ahead.
Say you were wondering about the return.
Yeah, 4 first-round picks for Jaylen Brown. Is that too high of a king's ransom?
I think what he has going for him over Giannis is you have more control because Jaylen Brown I think he has 3 years left on his contract, even though he is extension eligible, I believe. And then the other thing about Jaylen Brown, he's a healthier player. Now again, he's only one. He's crazy. Think about it, he's only really 1 year younger than Giannis, but he is a much healthier option. So if that's a concern for him, again, he's not as good as Giannis, not even close. But I wouldn't give up 4 first-round picks for Jay. I don't think I would do that. Because I don't think, again, now, what I say, I've said it before, I think Jaylen Brown, can you win a championship with a Jaylen Brown type? Well, unless you tell me Jalen Brunson is an outlier, then you could say the argument is maybe you could, because again, I think Jalen Brunson is probably a close 10 player, but he's not like top 5 guy, but you won a championship with him as your best player. And he has a glaring weakness where he doesn't play defense. But yeah, but again, the other piece going back to that is Brunson took a substantial pay cut so that other guys could get paid in New York. So if Jaylen Brown's not going to do something like that, so that you can get the OG Anunobys and the Mikal Bridges and the Karl-Anthony Towns and even the role players that come along with it. Yeah, I don't know that works the same. I just don't know that it works the same. But I think it's a little high. It's a little rich for my blood.
You think Braun is going to end up in LA? Retire? Or is he going to go back to Cleveland a year?
Yeah,
I think he'll go to Miami.
You think he's going to go? I just don't see. Why would he do that?
Ring chaser.
But here's my only thing on that. On LeBron in Miami. He only has what does he think? Do you think he has 2 years left playing?
Two max.
If he's playing 2, maybe. But if he's wrapping it up, then you got to wrap. If he's wrapping it up, you got to wrap this up in Cleveland or LA.
How old is he? 42? 41?
Is he 42? I just don't see how
next year might be a stretch in too.
No way. And he's already got not available. How many games did LeBron play this year?
I feel like he came back after All-Star, bro.
LeBron played 60 games this past year.
He played 60 games.
Did he? Wow.
He did.
That hyperbaric chamber is a mother.
And he is 41. He will be 42 in December of this season. He'll be 42 in December.
Well, I'll tell y'all this. Yeah, I mean, y'all know it's late. Golly, y'all know it's late. But I'll tell y'all, I think that when LeBron is going to retire, there will be no question we will know. Because he definitely seems like a farewell tour.
Oh, 100%.
He definitely seems like a farewell tour guy in every city. And he's going to expect to see LeBron on every team scoreboard.
Infosys says we will win the summer league. Who's this? Pickle Luke says that's too high of a trade package because Greek Freak should have been more than 5 for Boston. It was only 3. Let's see a couple more here. Wisco Joe says LaMelo would have made Jericho a $1 zillion. Mac Tumas says Gobert's not going to be able to catch the circus passes from LaMelo. And then Chess Ready says that the T-Wolves are deep and they will be in the Western Conference Finals. James Moore says if Donald Trump can still be president at 80 years of age, LeBron can continue to dribble that basketball. That's a good point. All right.
Pickle Luke had one more. He asked, how well do we think the Bucks will do in the summer league?
I think it's so hard to. I mean,
we don't even know the roster yet.
I think they'll be fun. I think they'll be fun. It'll be a fun. It'll be fun watch this year, no question.
We get a championship. And we get in the ring. I'm gonna buy the summer league T-shirt too. I don't care.
Nobody better. Remember year 2, John Henson in the summer league was. I was convinced he was about to be. He was a monster year 2 summer league. Anything else you guys want to get at? He was good in summer league.
He was amazing.
Yeah, he was real good. Anything else you guys want to get at before we get up out of here?
Yeah, there was something. Oh, I don't know if this is real or not. Y'all see that story of LaMelo Ball?
Oh, wait, his wife left him?
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw his wife left him.
Is that real? Did that happen?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he got a new. Matter of fact, he was on stream with his new girlfriend, bossing her around. You see that?
Oh, so that was real. Okay, I didn't know if it was fake or not.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, now the video was
30-some years, and I don't know. His wife. Did his wife step out on him? What was
that's the piece I don't think. I saw something about that. That's the piece I don't think was real, but I know she left.
Oh man,
LeVar seemed like I can't call
it. But 30 years, brother.
He seems like somebody that's pretty demanding.
I mean, but I mean,
and now he missing a leg. Oh, I know he acting a fool.
Boy. Oh boy!
I'm just saying. I know he out there. Yeah. I know he acting a fool.
Wait, he got his leg? He got his foot cut off or leg?
He got like half the knee. He got cut off at the knee. Yeah. You ain't know that?
Did he get an accident?
Nah, I think he had that sugar.
Oh, that type 2? Damn.
Yeah, terrible.
Get out of here.
That type 2, boy.
Hey, greatest modern day rapper got an album coming out July 10th.
Who is that?
That's Future. We coming back. We getting these chicks to tie our shoelaces. Let's go.
I just the only I don't know how old Future is, but I just some of the stuff he's singing about, I just don't know if that hits as hard when you're 40.
Yeah, he is.
Hey,
He's in the 40s.
I was about to say the tender age of 45.
Matter of fact, I think Future might be a couple years older than me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at some point, I mean, in a day and age where credibility is important, as hip hop art, people care about that. Brother, Future sold his catalog. Didn't he sell his why are you still doing this?
JT, let me ask you a question.
Just do like John, man, and hey, go be about your health, wellness, life, right? DJ a couple concerts, keep it pushing. Why would you drop a new album? I don't understand.
When did Bishop Don Juan retire from pimping?
I don't think he did.
Oh, that's the point. That's the point I'm getting at. Future
I don't think he did. That's a good one. I don't think he did.
Don Juan.
James Moore has a question for you, Justin. Last 10 years, who's the worst draft pick the Bucks made in the last 10 years?
Damn.
2016.
I was about to unk my ass to sleep, and he asked me a hard question.
What
about you said Thon Maker in 2016?
Nah, I don't think it's Thon. What about
I think it's DJ Wilson.
No, what's Rashad Vaughn? I'll go Rashad Vaughn.
Oh, Shotty was bad.
I'll go Rashad Vaughn.
And he's a UNLV kid. Yeah, it's between Rashad and DJ.
AJ is up there, boy.
AJ Johnson.
Yeah, I was gonna say AJ. But
AJ
the thing
Johnson
about
might be the absolute worst. Marjon Beauchamp might be right up there with him too.
Tyler Smith might be in there.
That's
he's second round. He's 60 though, or 50, whatever. But the thing about
Tyler Smith
Rashad
was like
Vaughn,
it was back in the. Tyler was like 33 at 34.
He was 34.
Yeah, Tyler Smith was up there.
Oh, I just assumed he was like 62 because the way
what
he
are we
played.
doing with Andre Jackson Jr. too? We didn't even talk about him.
Who knows?
At least Andre Jackson Jr. he got production out of for 4 years. It wasn't much.
Hey, I give you another one. He's on the Chris Livingston track. What does he do? What does he do? James Wilson, Jordan Nora. Yeah. This was a rough one.
Ward was second round though in the 40s, I think.
He was in the 40s. Yeah, he was a little further back.
I would just caution folks with DJ Wilson and Rashad Vaughn. Just remember, and I think this guy is, I don't know top whatever, but Jason Kidd's one of the best Bucks coaches ever. But those were heavily influenced by Jason Kidd, and I hate to say that because that's my GOAT for point guards at least. I think he's the greatest point guard of all time, at least in my lifetime. My 43 years on this earth, I think I've never seen a better point guard than Jason Kidd. But DJ Wilson and Rashad Vaughn were misses. AJ Johnson was definitely a miss.
Brother, you talking about John Horst taking swings. That was what he listen, I want you to swing if you had a 3-2 count on the plate, but not with your eyes closed. And that's what it felt like John Horst did when it was time to draft these last few years. Close your eyes and hope for the best. That's crazy. That's crazy work.
So let me ask you a question, and you're not wrong, but do you think that he was trying to, in Jay-Z words, like he told the people, make another Jay-Z? He's trying to make another Giannis, and that's why he was looking at these AJ Johnsons, these Tyler Swift type dudes. Like, I gotta find somebody to hit because this dude is waffling back and forth, like he's at Trey's favorite restaurant, the Waffle House.
I think it's no way John Horst. I think my only explanation is John Horst and then thought they could get somebody that nobody else knew about. Yeah, I got this hidden gem here. You see this hidden gem? I got this hidden gem. It's cubic zirconia. Everybody knows it but me, right? Like you think you got a true diamond in the rough here. You ain't got nothing. That's pretty much what that is. But I think that's what it was. Is it was probably him thinking, oh, I got a guy nobody sees. This guy's great. Nobody else is gonna go after him. I got this figured out. Or it was just an issue where your scouting department was just way too optimistic on guys who needed a ton of work and development, and they were way too optimistic about your ability to develop these guys who needed a ton of polish. I just think it's one of those two things.
Greatest redemption story ever. John Horst going forward, man.
By the
Build us
way,
another championship.
did we break a record tonight? Are we on 3 hours?
How where we at, Chris? We broke a record the other night. We almost went 3 hours for the draft.
Oh my God! I mean,
We were like
screamed.
250 something. Where are we at right now?
Right now we're live for 2 hours and 9 minutes.
All right,
Oh, that's it?
We ain't broke the record.
Oh, damn.
But it has been a while. All right, anything else that needs to be covered before we jump out of here? We good?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Chris.
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm gonna pull out the bunny.
That's it. No.
With the bunny with the
yeah. That's in the clock. All right, let's wrap it there, man. Good stuff, people. Good stuff in the chat. We appreciate you guys as always for joining with us, rocking out with us, man. It's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Good amount of people in here in the room. We appreciate. I guess I got to start doing the thing and saying Taylor Jenkins is our doctor. That's how we'll have to do that. We'll start that one up for the next one. Next stop for the Milwaukee Bucks. Again, if anything breaks, we'll obviously cover it. But next stop for the Milwaukee Bucks could be a trade. But Summer League will start pretty soon here, coming up in the early stretch of July. So we'll talk about some of those things as well. I know Chris Kings has some videos coming out related to deep dive on some of the draft. On the draft picks, and again, John Horst seems to have at least hit with the fans a little bit. Not as many complaints about this draft as we've seen in the past. But again, we appreciate you guys for joining us. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us, and that's why we love you. Please make sure you continue to watch, listen, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe. If you believe in this Milwaukee Bucks team, if you believe in John Horst, if you believe that Kyle Kuzma is going to get traded, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. If you like that Tough Crowd shirt Justin has on, subscribe. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend about the Crimson Cross. It's the best Milwaukee Bucks postgame show in all of the land. This has been a Cream City Media Group production.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
Hey, if I am your enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wooden nickels.